and it's almost consistent across the board. Good stuff. Good fight. We learned. You won't win next time, which is really what you want to see. I mean, that's the mentality that you need for a competition like this. And I haven't seen no anger. I've seen no name calling. No reverting to type.
You might want to open up the chat and have a look.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, you're good.
Being meme lords.
There is
We're not winning. Oh, no. Oh, never mind. They're not sportsmen towards me. I am the one who's throwing the match. Oh, of course.
Oh, boy.
Can't believe it. I can't believe I threw the match for RS by messing up my install of their liveries, which I'll send them pictures. The liveries are installed. I don't know why they're not showing up. The meme lords and gods. There's another fight between RS and TMC going on behind the scenes. Who memes the best?
There's a fight on the outside, but there's also a fight on the inside. Currently doing battle now in the SATAC meme channel.
Oh, no.
There's two wars going on right now.
They fight a total war, these two teams, as they get themselves set up here. Take a look as they're making their way towards the runway. That's the wrong button. Looks like we've got... Oh, hold on. Tail. Tail has not made it. TMC taking about the same... Yep. TMC looks like, hey, if it worked, if it's not broken, don't fix it. They're going to be taking the same walkout here. Vipers up front. Tomcats together with the 17 behind, and Tail on his own in the 33. Definitely not Kingston. Yeah, well, maybe. Kingston, I've... Whoa. Rich, this is interesting. I'm taking a look at RS here. They're taking off out to sea.
I think I see it. Oh.
They are lining up.
Hornets as well?
Have I checked the Hornets? I've not. They're lining up 2-4, which is not the same thing we took last time. Let's take a look. Finch here. What have you taken? That is a lot of Talds. Wow.
Back again.
This is a loadout. This is certainly a loadout. My goodness.
So this may very well prove very detrimental to TMC in the very passive fighting style, because it very much comes down to when you get your nose back in, you got to sort, the quicker you can sort, the more depth you kind of retain in your kind of grinder, let's say. Yeah, you're shooting missiles at things that aren't bandits. They're probably going to start running you down. Yeah.
And that does seem like a great counter to TMC's use of conservative play. Interesting choice, but I'm excited to see it work out well. The Hornets have switched their loadouts. Which side the Talds is on has changed. The takeoff could be interesting, but I have faith in both pilots to do well.
Oh yeah, very interesting.
Let's see the crowd favorite. Same loadout. Matty knows what works, and he's not going to change it. Yep. Same loadout here. Let's take a look. We saw some Talds out of TMC the first time, but they put him away. Maybe Kingston was able to convince his teammates to let him use him again.
Let the decoys do the fighting.
No. Looks like they were definitely pleased with the work of the 4 Phoenixes between the 2 Tomcats, and they are going to be continuing with that standard loadout there. Do we have the J11? Does the J11 have Jim? It does. The J11 is bringing the ECM pods. We've basically seen everybody bring the ECM pods. Except for a couple 51st members. But Hornets have inbuilt ECM, obviously. Now, realistically, that's from the radar and only in front. But in this competition, in DCS, that will be a bubble around the aircraft. So we've seen pilots use it before. 343 in their fight with RS. Hornet pilot Starry Fox 9 did try to use ECM. Ended up having some issues with it. I think might have missed clicking the right button a couple times in a row. I think got himself... Did it? I thought if I were... You're right.
I was looking on the type view, and so I obviously made that first pass kill with home on jam. I nearly got Starry Fox in round 2, but his jammer went off at just the right second. Well, it was more than just a second. Let's say 10. It was about 10 seconds left to impact, and the jam went, and thus the missile lost track. So I don't
Got
know.
it.
Maybe the jammer not appearing to work may have actually been a
It was
blessing
all a
rather than a
lie.
curse.
It worked the whole time.
Now
All
I had
right.
time to sort of sit down and review those tap views. But yeah,
I tell you what, everybody's looking forward to that update from ED to get us into multi-threading. If you guys can't quite make out the
yeah.
chat, we're all complaining about low FPS on the ground. All
That
right.
sounds like a GPU skill issue to me.
Teams
but,
ready.
What do I know?
A bit, isn't it?
that is a joke, by the way. Like,
Of course.
Don't go take that and run with it. That is
GPS skill issue. That just a GPU skill issue is not the fault of anybody. Each team has the stuff they have, and as we see here,
that is the best he can do.
Plasma has 6 SPF. 6 SPF. He's got 6 SPF sunscreen on now. 6 FPS with a 4090. So it seems like there's no winning. We are all suffering frame rates today. Well, let's get both teams ready. Plasma said he had to take a... All right, Plasma has stood up a last-minute bio break before taking off. That's fine. Bladder isn't what it used to be. The shame and pains of aging. We'll have to grill him for that in the interviews.
Yeah, holding us all up.
Indeed, indeed. I guess I don't need this anymore. Save some more playing the game of closing things down for maximum performance. Rest in peace, Bladder. TMC mourning the loss of Plasma's Bladder. Of course, Plasma third in line for takeoff, so can't quite just start taking off and let him catch up. Otherwise, I think Aaron's going to have some spatial existence problems with that. There's not quite enough room. Let's get a good picture of these guys.
Interesting thing to note for Plasma here in the J11, he's electing to take only a single R77. And I think flanker guys, with a bit of experience under their belt, that tends to be the case when they fly a J11. The R77 obviously gives you it's being Fox 3. It's part of your tool belt, especially in the J11. But yeah, that's about it. It's not a very good missile.
It really isn't.
Pretty common.
It's better. I think for the MiG-29, taking 4 of them is definitely in his favor. But despite the fact that it might often be seen as sort of the direct answer to the AIM-120, especially the C model, it really isn't. It doesn't have that range. It doesn't have the kinematics.
Maybe if it got a bit of love from ED, it could possibly be. Because again, like the ER, like you say, on the December update, ER definitely got a lot of help from ED's side. But yeah, the thing is with the MiG-29 is you can only take 2 R27s, and then the rest of your pylons are either 73s or R77s, so the choice is pretty obvious. But that is it with flankers. You are sacrificing an R27 for a 77 at all times. So that's kind of where you have to start making trades.
All right, well, both teams are set, so we're going to get to it. Bladders are empty. Hopefully not the fuel bladders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fights on. And the Hornets rolling right away. Kind of 1 by 1. That's a very straight takeoff, despite having an asymmetric payload like that. I've never taken off with that payload, but I would almost say without doubt that it would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, well, if they've tested it, they probably know how much trim to put in to offset that. But,
Indeed. Unlike some of us, the players here might actually test their loadouts rather than saying, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't. I just, put some trim in, it'll be alright.
So how much trim? I don't know.
Later. Just some amount.
Well, of course, not the Viper, which is what we're looking at now. Boy, listen to those engines just tear. Good formation takeoff there. It's a shame we didn't see it. Oh, and the Tomcat's doing the same thing a little bit far back here, Death Angel. Please don't get caught in his wake. Death Angel is airborne. These guys know what they're doing. Let's watch the TMC pilot with the jamming pod. Oh, what was that? Mori taking off here. in a very quiet jet. I'm assuming he's not supersonic on the ground, so...
Stealth fighter.
Stealth fighter. Gets himself off the ground. I'm sure the wind is causing these guys quite a bit of pain. And tail airborne, and it's TMC all up. Going once again for the north. RS all up. And they've split. Looks like... Oh, not all up. The Please Don't Shoot Me F-16C, not quite in the air yet. Looks like Aaron might be going out once again in his own direction, headed off towards the north side, while the rest seem to do more or less a straight-in approach on the southern half. And they are. The rest all taking a left-hand turn.
Unfortunately for Please Don't Shoot Me, it seems TMC aren't exactly observing his name here and are proceeding to shoot him, at least.
Very
if,
rude, don't you think? Because as we know, DCS usernames are displayed on radars when you lock a target up. And asking so nice, please don't shoot me. I mean, come on, TMC, you gotta show them a little bit of human kindness. But they were just ruthless with the 120 Charlie trade in that first match.
Foxery.
Please don't shoot me. No, I will. Get a look at these two Vipers now. I'm a little bit biased. I think the Viper's my favorite jet. Although I hate that centerline tank. Oh, it angers me so. Now the pilots are good. They get rid of it way before they get into a situation where it would be detrimental, and the extra fuel is, I'm sure, worth it. But the drag that it puts on the jet is just brutal. So I personally don't like it at all. Now TMC kind of conga lining themselves up north, but keeping a bit of a formation. Definitely interested to see. It looks like the Hornets over at RS staying together. I suspect, if I were a betting man, that we're going to see a spread with Gs, but low Gs, maybe 2 Gs from these Hornets out front, up high, in opposite directions. Synchronized dropping of those towels, or perhaps if they were smart, I think maybe even intentionally asynchronous employment of those towels, just to throw out a wave at the start and try and get RS to, get TMC to fire at the wrong missiles. But that might not be the best play. I mean, the towel is a heavy weight and it's a lot of drag, especially having all 3 of them. I would not be surprised if we saw them jettison the triple ejector rack the moment that they could to get better performance out of the airplane. But there might be some benefit into keeping it in the fight, continuing, not just that first pass, because these fights,
I think so
especially with the last round we saw RS and TMC, their fight was 2, 3, 4, 5 cycles. They might try to keep some of these towels in reserve. In fact, what would be extremely interesting to see is if they hold off on towels for that first round, let it act and appear as if they're normal, and then the second circle of that fight, everybody comes back in, and it's just, why are there so many things on my radar? What am I looking at? Towels left, right, and center would be a very interesting thing to see. Oh, RS continuing their, let's stay in a bit of a formation here. Not the tight formations, but still combined. A little bit of a tactical blob, but, when you have intent, it's not quite so blobby. But, RS decked out with a ZX Spectrum computer. Some have Commodore 64s.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But,
SERP running on...
SERP?
What the hell? That's not SERP. SATAC running on 1968 technology now. We actually should take a moment here to thank...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We should take a moment to thank SBQR for their servers. Their servers have been great and very stable, a good third party for most of these fights, and definitely beneficial that they were able to offer such professional grade servers for us to fight. Now, what were you saying about those TALDs?
And obviously very professional staff as well. It's been a pleasure working with them. But yeah, just going back to the towers, because it's something I haven't really given much thought. But I think dropping them too early would be not a good idea. Because again, the idea with the towers is, or you hope, is to cause confusion. But if you drop them sort of at that first moment, they're both teams kind of, or obviously the team you're employing against, they kind of have time to sort of work and sort out, okay, that's a decoy, that's a bandit, that's a
Indeed.
decoy, that's a bandit. But when you start dropping them as you're kind of going hot, cold, especially, as they're gliders, they're quite easy to tell, okay, he's not supersonic, he's like 0.6 Mach, that's a decoy. But that's it. If you start dropping them as you're spinning around and hot, cold, I feel like that's where the confusion can really start to make an impact on the outcome. So at least that's what I'd
Indeed.
do. I'd save them for about midway through the fight and then start dropping them.
Well, we'll have to see what RS does. I'm sure they've put in quite a few hours of testing to see how they want to employ them best. Both teams about to enter the zone almost at the exact same time. The TALD in BVR combat, of course, the TALD is originally meant to confuse SAM sites, but in BVR combat, it almost is similar to in submarines. They have like a special torpedo that makes a lot of noise to try and emulate the submarine, especially the submarine it's fired from, to try and trick people into shooting at it rather than the submarine. Also to try and pull actively guided sonar torpedoes off the threat. Now, one of the big differences between the TALD and something like a MOS is the MOS can change direction once. It's not wire guided, but you can fire it and turn it. The TALD can't do that. The TALD just goes straight in a line. It's not some of the more advanced ones that are actually capable of maneuvering slightly. Blue takes control of the battle area there. First in RS. TMC not far behind, but not in just yet. 5-minute timer does start, but I doubt they will need to expend much of that time. They'll be in there quite quickly. The lack of ability to turn can make it easy to fire at the wrong aircraft. Or not to fire at the wrong aircraft. The lack of it being able to turn can make it easy to tell, if suddenly one radar contact turns into two, and one's going hot and one's going cold, it's pretty understandable which one the hot aircraft is, but maybe they're just trying to go, there's not enough time when you get into that bit of a melee where you're probably inside about 25 miles, 30 miles, you get into a bit more of a melee, and there's just not that much time to sit there and discern which radar dot is going where. And I think a lot of these guys just aren't used to the TALDs. They're a bit of a meme, but an effective meme that doesn't make a lot of appearance. So I would be not surprised if TMC, in the interviews goes, well, we just haven't fought against TALD, so they definitely threw us for a loop.
Yeah, I'd love to hear their game plan on that. That is RS. But yeah, this is it. Especially when the fight gets going, you're making split-second decision making because every second is another second that you may be heading towards an active missile in your face. So you've got to make decisions quick, and the more just nonsense you've got on the radar that's not important, that looks important, it's just weighing down on your decision making. And this is it. Mistakes then happen, and you can gain position or kills or whatever from those mistakes. So yeah, it's not really something you can put numbers to. It's definitely sort of the biological element of it, I guess you could say. Because again, you can't really I imagine there is some way to kind of break it down to show effectiveness here. The tiles have an effect, mathematically here, but
well,
it's
we aren't
just
the U.S. Air Force, and we do not have that budget to hire somebody to do all the math. So I think we'll just have to play it a little bit hot and
just
dirty.
Trust in the process.
Just trust it, bro. Just trust me. Source, trust me, bro. TALD work. Well, TMC has made their way into the arena. Oh, these gorgeous Vipers. Gotten rid of those fuel tanks. Letting their burners rip. Are they? Yeah, they are. That Viper is hot. First one's in the area. We're gonna see. I think we'll see how do the Vipers deal with the RS TALD play, and who gets engaged first. Maddie and Aaron in the back. Please don't shoot me bringing up a bit of a middle. Looks somewhat like a convoy here with RS.
I love the geometry going on here. As you see these two F-16s from TMC. They start at a crank, but as they go in pure towards the bandit group, they actually end up in a spread, just the nature of the turn there. So
Indeed.
I'd say that's definitely planned.
Yeah, it definitely. That's a nice 8-mile spread. as they go pure. I would say definitely intentional, and a very good tactic allows them to be covered of one another, and it means that in terms of maximum, AMRAM effectiveness, RS isn't able to launch on both with equal effectiveness. They're gonna have to nose hot on somebody for those initial launches, because just a few degrees when you're launching at 40 miles, that few degrees of offset that missile has to fight through can really impact it quite a lot. Decoys once not a biggie, but if you could send him in the melee when the guy is frantically doing threat assessments, they can be effective. Yep, and I think that's exactly what Rich and I are both hoping to see here is a sudden just and boop, oh, thought that was a missile, thought that was an airplane, and as long as it can eat one missile each, even if it's a TWS launch, more than enough to make them effective and worth bringing, because every missile that they eat is one they don't have to defeat.
Yep, and that's it. If you get the wrong sort, you don't shoot the high guy at 30,000 Mach 2. Well, yeah, use the Alamo match as a good example. They can just convert that, the fact they don't need to defend, and just munch you into pieces, basically, with missiles from on high.
Indeed. Now, we are seeing one thing here. Fresh, Viper, in a good spread, but low altitude. And in fact, diving more. Losing altitude. That is an interesting play here. 26,000 and lowering, whereas looks like Maddie and Aaron 30,000, 33,000-ish. Everybody else staying high. TMC does have a bit of an altitude advantage with the highest aircraft, 42,000 feet. The Tomcat's finally done it. Death Angel, 42,000 feet, where we wanted to see the Cats all day. All fight, really. We said this at the beginning. It's been rough with the F-14. The F-14 wasn't showing a lot of its good efforts, but it's been good to see TMC bring out the best in the Tomcat, that high altitude long range shots.
We have a TOW deployment from the lead man, RS.
Oh, we do.
So
first TOW is out.
It's only a single TOW, so that's 2 more for Finch.
TOW minding its own business.
Well, I was going to say there would be a good shot opportunity for the Tomcats on Aaron here, but he's now gone to the beam. That opportunity now gone.
Indeed, looks like they're both.
And no first pass launch. Well, we might see something out the Tomcats. Oh, okay. We got a ER out from Plasma on the flank.
Yeah, first one out. 24,000, not the highest altitude. Looks like maybe targeted on Mori, 37,000. ER is going to have to reach far, but hey, if Mori's got his jammer on, we could see another long distance home on jam. Although no, this ER might be going for Dauber, who is cold out of there. No.
Even from 25,000, just Mach 2 to like half the distance is crazy.
Yeah, definitely got the speed. Mori, somewhat defensive, not a huge concern to Mori. We've seen a Jeff not pull G's with the jammer pod, and it work out poorly for him. But I don't know.
Another ER
missile looks like it's starting to run out.
I think I think Mori is jamming here, because there seems to be a lot of ERs kind of just homing in on Mori. Indeed,
yep, Maddie. Even longer distance shot, actually, 53 miles. That's definitely out of parameter.
It's home on jam as Maddie, the MiG-29's radar would not be able to see a Jeff that far away, so it's 100% home on jam.
Yep. Perhaps that's a good use of the jammer, not running it out front, but keeping it with the mix, making you think things could be closer than they are. These are not JSOWs, they are TALDs. They are Tactical Air Launch Decoy. I think the T stands for tactical. Looks like RS here is trying to get TMC to take a couple second guesses. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's Finch down to 1 TALD. Fruitcake. Yep. Still got all 3. High and fast, burning in though. These TALDs, they're fast, just they're not fast enough.
I was saying about deploying them early, because this is kind of where they don't really have an effect on the decision making, because it's pretty obvious that they're decoys. Though some inexperience may change that assessment. But I feel like when the fight gets really muddy and dirty and low, I feel like that's where they could really play well. But we'll see how it develops.
You know, I think they might have just been using those Talds to be able to get into a position, because now we have a pretty decent 4-ship wall. Maddie, Aaron, Fruitcake, and Don't Shoot Me all pushing in. Decent altitude, except Maddie is a bit low. Finch and Plasma are definitely cold resetting.
Got
TMC, aim 120 out. And you know what? I think we're going to see a very sad duck.
Yeah,
Whoops.
it's working.
It's working.
It's duck season.
Duck hunting out here. Something tells me this duck isn't going to fly for much longer. And there it goes. Aim 120 takes out a duck. That's one missile defeated.
Splash one, but not the sort of splash one you want to be getting.
No, indeed. I wonder if they've decided as to whether or not that's a duck. Finch, 26,000, aim 120 Charlie. Out long. Looks like this is one on Dauber. Dauber Viper high.
24,000 feet.
It might.
Ambitious.
Not 27 miles. I think it's ambitious, but it's enough to it's enough of a threat that Dauber has to react.
Ooh, aim 54 out from Kingston.
Aim 54 and return Aaron with an ER, I think, right there.
Yeah, Kingston's got to drop. ER's going to get to him first.
I don't know.
Aim 54's lofted, and ER's just going straight for the kill.
Yep. ER is going first. Now, if Aaron uses... Oh, did Aaron defeat the missile?
Possibly. Aim 54C will go active like an AMRAAM. So, but with the motor spent like that, a bit of G and he'll be okay.
Yep. Oh, yeah, looks like it's definitely found something again. Yeah, guiding itself in here.
It's so fat.
Yeah. Big old missile. Doesn't have a lot of speed. Aaron low in the mountains.
Ooh, yeah, this is the risk.
Going for the defeat. Probably going to make it, putting on the G's. It looks like he knows exactly where the...
Nice, formation here. They've kind of got like a wall going, but it's kind of like a defensive. Got another towed out from Fruitcake.
Oh, that's Fruitcake's last. No, first. Fruitcake's first towed out. Throwing that one overhead, Maddie and Aaron. Wonder if that was intentional, using these Talds as covers, trying to make it look like, hey, we had two guys low. Now, okay, look at this. Aaron's now staying low. Maddie and Aaron work together on data link. I'm sure Aaron's now kind of become somewhat disappearing. Got a Towed out overhead. Could that be Aaron? I don't know if these guys have the time to try and figure it out. You know, it's slowing down, but if it could eat one more missile, you know, it's done its job. TMC is coming in with a wall. Actually, they've got a really interesting formation here. Death Angel is about a little bit out, but probably not out of position where they want him. Kingston leading the charge with a Charlie model aim 54. Maury, Fresh, and Dauber in support, and then Tail in the very back looking to clean it up. RS, on the other hand, they're a bit tight, except for please don't shoot me.
Is that going for the Tald?
Is it going for the Tald? I believe we've got another missile going for the Tald.
Yeah, that's definitely trying to kill ducks.
That is a duck kill. Whoops. That wasn't the button I meant to press.
We should get a scoreboard running here.
Well, we've got 2 duck kills, and duck hunting season for TMC. Come back 2.
So pretty
out of 4 launches. You know, Rich, that's a 50% effectiveness on missile drains. 4 launches, 2 drains. I think that's definitely worth it. 120 out on Kingston from Flinch here with an SD-10 return from Maury.
Yep.
120C looks like it's got the energy it might need here. Or is it going for Maury?
He's just been in the corner here, spinning around in circles.
Duck hunting.
Find his way into the fight.
Oh, looks like Maury has executed this maneuver well, but he turns back into it. Does he turn back into it too soon? Sees the missile, turns away. Jeez. Oh.
He'll be okay.
More G's, more G's, more G's. Ah, he's got it.
We do have an ET launch, but again, no tone.
No tone. That SD10 also looking same thing. Looks defeated to me.
Ooh,
Mori almost ate that 120. I wonder if he
missed the
knows just how
exchange.
close he came. Don't shoot me, and Daub are both Vipers. Don't shoot me much lower. Actually, don't shoot me now putting out another 120C. This one looks like it's
Ooh.
almost already Pitbull on Kingston.
Now that is a sort. Kingston's in trouble here.
Kingston's got to do something for it.
Quite low,
He's come down in defensive. Is he pulling enough G?
Well,
he's fast.
A Tomcat. He's got wings, so he can probably generate the G with the airspeed he has, and he's done it.
I think he's done it.
So that's one thing for the Tomcat.
I don't think 77
because of
has
the amount
range.
of lift you have with that aircraft, you can be very kind of slow and high, but because you've got so much lift, when you need to start making defensive maneuvers, you know, you can kind of make, you know, mistakes with your speed and be able
Looks
to
like we've got Finch's
safely.
last 2 Talds, or perhaps this is a fruitcake Tald out here. I'm going to bring that up in the instant replay, see if we can't figure out whose Tald that was. Oh, it does look like Fruitcake fires off 2 final Talds. No, nope. That was definitely a spread between the two of them. How are they going to work? Doesn't it looks like TMC might have figured out the trick. We got an ER out here. Looks like this one might be on fresh.
I had a little scroll through. Unfortunately, please don't shoot me. That missile on Kingston cost him his life. He C-fitted into the ground.
Oh no! Oh, I wasn't even looking. Let's take a look at that C-fit.
And I wasn't looking. I missed it as well.
Missed it as well. Well, those mountains are a bit dangerous. ER looks defeated on fresh. Let's go back and see the TMC skill kill by putting the ground where they put it, as my computer slowly implodes.
Oh, finally. Oh, here we go. We have a good ET out from Plasma. It is on a hot F-16, but it's close range enough that it's got a tone and it may go all the way. Double ET scape.
Double ET scape, 120 in return.
All right, ET's gone dead. I think Dobber went idle, but ET on a Tomcat. Now, Tomcats are very high in the infrared, so he's got the flares out, but he's
Tomcat missile return. Plasma's defeating a missile here, but is it going to track him? I can hear him. He's close.
ET's bit the flares from Kingston here, so that was some good flying there to get away from those two.
That was quite good flying. If model viewer could close, I clicked the wrong button. Let's go ahead and watch that back. 120 Charlie return out of Dauber there on Plasma, but is not enough to connect. Does defeat it. Good stuff there. Both ETs defeated. We're seeing great fighting out of both of these teams continually, and it just makes me happy.
It's good, yeah. Finch might be in trouble here from SD10 out from Mori. He is low and he's slow, but his altitude's quite low, so I feel like he may be okay here. He puts an A120 Charlie in return.
Indeed, and unfortunately, Rich, it looks like we're dropping frames.
DCS.
No, internet. My internet has decided I was not allowed. We're gonna keep it up though.
Oh no. Okay, now this is an ET shot out from Tayo onto Aaron. Oh, but I think he did put some. Nah, it's still guiding. This is going to be a hit, I think. It's definitely unseen.
It looks good. Yeah. Sounds good. And it's good.
A silent killer, that is the ET. So, good kill to Tail there.
Stream getting stuck a bit. Yeah, I do know. Unfortunately,
Plasma's in some trouble here.
ISP has decided we're not allowed our fun, so we'll definitely have to go over this stuff. Ooh, double 9Ms on Plasma. He is in trouble.
Plasma's going to get into the merge. The A120 in support, but does it have a track?
Ooh, does have a track. That looks very good to me. Plasma quite low. And almost entirely out of missiles. Unable to make it. Unfortunate there. Looks like TMC has put themselves in a fantastic position. This is now a 5v2. Well.
It's like, I feel like we've been here before enough.
You feel like we've been here before. A 2v5. Fruitcake now down to, what's the ordnance check? 2 AMRAAMs, 2 missiles, still has that triple ejector rack. Maddie low in the mountains down to the ET and the R77s, which I think Maddie really wants to get in a turn fight with that. But we'll have his difficulties. .120 out here. Return from Dauber. Looks like Fruitcake's 120 might have been sorted on the wrong target, or no, it is now sorted on Dauber. Doesn't have nearly as much energy as his does. Both of them now cold, trying to outrun these missiles. Putting the G's on.
Yeah, it's
Dauber's close.
Fruitcake just needs to keep running, and then Dauber,
but defeated.
Yeah,
enough G's pull. Fruitcake's and keep running, bringing it back into Maddie. Maddie may be able to get some R77s in the face here now, close. 12 miles from Kingston and Tail.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Matty still has his ET. ET goes out.
Ooh.
But unfortunately, no tone.
No tone? Unfortunate. Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, the ER got stronger. Unfortunately, the ET...
ET got weaker, as the trades must be. AIM-7M return on Maddie here from Kingston. And it looks like they've just got the whole team in support here. TMC definitely learning from last match. Their aggression, their aggression levels are high.
If I was 6 pilots up, and I think I would also, well, I would have gone 3 versus 2. But yeah, I think they just need to make sure they don't get picked out single file, and they'll be all right.
Indeed. Well, it looks like we're back. We only lost, lost 10,000 frames. Oh. I love my ISP. I knew they were gonna have a problem. R77 out of Maddie onto Kingston, gets the trade.
He just needs to play
ER looks too good.
ER
had it. Fruitcake back in now. Last man standing. 3 missiles. He's gonna have to get some gun kills if he wants to win it.
Oh, he's gone inverted. And he's going to the ground.
C-fits into the ground. Oh, no. That's a shame. That is a shame. TMC 5 up. I think well played. I think RS definitely tried something with the Talds there, and it looked like it was working. I mean, 50% at one point, but TMC either figured it out. We did see the Tald launches we wanted. Once the melee happened, starting getting those Talds out slowly, you know, making sure that they showed up and kind of confused people. The Tald launch over the head of 2 pilots who were low and might have been able to drop off radar seemed really smart as a way to try and confuse people. Hey, why suddenly is he here? And oh, that must be a real player. It can't be a Tald. You know, it makes sense that he's slow. He would just climbed all the way back up. So definitely, definitely seems that way.
Keep in mind as well for Talds, you are trading. Well, actually no, because in the way of the Hornet, well, yeah, you will have to trade missiles because it's a pylon at the end of the day. But I think they're able to take their 4 actives with the Talds on top.
They can. So can the Tomcat. The Tomcat can take 2 Talds plus 4 actives and no Fox 1s.
Gotcha.
But it is a lot easier for the Hornet to beat the Tald machine. Let's go ahead and take a look at the TAC view while these guys make their way back home, because we've got a bit of fighting to make up for that was missed. Thanks to some fun internet fuckery, really coming out of nowhere.
It's always the best of times, right?
Always the best of times, right when the fighting was getting good. We saw pretty good setups, people going into their beams, always having support. Right here, we've still got all players up for RS 6v6, and looking good. And it sort of just cracks. And I don't think it was anything to do with the pilots. You can see there the Kingston AIM-54C close range launch